What's up, my co-reporters? Welcome back to my channel. Yes, again, we've got another Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively story, but listen, this time it is Justin Baldoni coming out swinging as he promised, right? Like he said at the end of 2024, because this was something I mentioned in my final morning report of the year last year, that he would be filing a major lawsuit against Blake Lively. He didn't mention the New York Times, but come to find out, that is who he is setting his sights on first. And I've got the full legal document to go over with you guys. So buckle up. This doesn't mean that he's not going to be going after Blake Lively individually. He said that that was coming. So keep an eye out for that as well. If you haven't already, do make sure to subscribe to my channel because I will be reading that lawsuit in full as well when it is eventually filed. Okay. But in the meantime, let's get into this lawsuit that he's filing against the New York Times on behalf of himself and his production company, Wayfarer Studios. Okay. So the defendants right here, the New York Times, and he is suing them within the Superior Court of the State of California for the County of Los Angeles Central District. Now, what is he suing them for exactly? Great question. Damages for libel, false light evasion of privacy, promissory fraud, and breach of implied in fact contract. And he is demanding a jury trial. Woof. Woof is all I can say. Let's get into the facts, shall we? Or his statement of the facts. Plaintiffs, Wayfarer Studios, LLC, Wayfarer, Justin Baldoni, Jamie Heath, Stephen Sarowitz, Melissa Nathan, the Agency Group PR, LLC, Jennifer Abel, RWA Communications, Jed Wallace, and Street Relations, collectively. And I forgot, yeah, the PR girlies are suing as well. It's not just Justin and his production company. Everybody that was mentioned in that and New York Times piece and accused of going after Blake Lively is coming out fighting. Okay, so those are the plaintiffs. By and through their counsel, hereby bring forward the following causes of action against the defendants, the New York Times Company, and does 100 inclusive, and with the knowledge as to themselves and otherwise on information and belief, claim and allege as follows. At 9:46 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday, December 20th, 2024, the New York Times reporter Megan Twohy requested plaintiffs' response to an imminent 4,000-word bombshell story concerning their alleged orchestration of a smear campaign targeting Blake Lively, purportedly in response to Lively's disclosure of concerns about the working environment on the set of It Ends With Us, the film. The film's production company, Wayfarer, its principals, Baldoni and Heath, and its public relations representatives, Nathan and Abel, were asked to provide an on-the-record comment and to notify the Times of any inaccuracies by noon the next day on December. Merde. What happened here? Voila. Sorry, I needed it more zoomed in, and this is perfect. On December 21st, 2024, a mere 14 hours overnight. Plaintiff's representative promptly denied Lively's accusations as reported by the Times and criticized both Lively and the Times' reliance on cherry-picked and altered communications, stripped of necessary context and deliberately spliced to mislead. Despite its claim to have, quote, reviewed these along with other documents, the Times relied almost entirely on Lively's unverified and self-serving narrative, lifting it nearly verbatim while disregarding an abundance of evidence that contradicted her claims and exposed her true motives. Oh, he's saying she was playing dirty and the Times was doing her dirty work. All right. But the Times did not care. Given the breadth of the article and the coordinated drop, it is readily apparent that the Times had been quietly working in concert with Lively's team for weeks or months. The Times participated actively in the legal maneuvering at the heart of Lively's strategy. Notably, Lively chose not to file a lawsuit against Baldoni, Wayfarer, or any of the plaintiffs, a choice that spared her from the scrutiny of the discovery process, including answering questions under oath and producing her communications. But the gag is, Blake Lively has since sued Justin and his production company, so he spoke a little too soon here, and that's another lawsuit we'll have to get into, y'all. There's a lot going on. The decision was no accident. First, her administrative complaint is rife with blatant falsehoods and egregious misrepresentations that would have subjected her to dismissal if not sanctions. Second, pursuing formal legal action would have derailed her true objective, an orchestrated campaign to rehabilitate her public image. So I don't think it was a good idea for them to start this way, because we're only a page in and like his big right out of the gate claim has already been disproven, right? Instead, Lively filed a request for a right to sue letter with the California Civil Rights Department. A procedural formality that does not require pleadings, remains confidential unless leaked, as it was here, and crucially, does not subject the complainant to discovery. While such a letter can precede a lawsuit, it is clear that litigation was never her ultimate goal. Her real intention was to weaponize the appearance of legitimacy conferred by a numbered legal document to launch salacious, headline-grabbing allegations and reshape her public persona at the expense of the plaintiffs. Lively found willing allies in the New York Times, which uncritically embraced her CRD complaint as fact and disregarded the plaintiffs' emphatic objections. Without even waiting for the response deadline of noon, on December 21st, 2024, the Times rushed to publish its inflammatory article, quote, "We can bury anyone inside a Hollywood smear machine," at 10:11 a.m., nearly 2 hours early. Looks like you might have a case there, at least. This brazen disregard for journalistic integrity and fairness resulted in an article rife with inaccuracies, misrepresentations, and omissions. In an era where public trust in media has reached a historic low and legacy outlets are increasingly criticized as biased and agenda-driven, which is true, the Times has chosen to double down on sensationalism and oversimplified narratives. Rather than striving for accuracy and balance, it has prioritized hollow signaling over substantive reporting, further eroding its credibility and exacerbating the very mistrust it claims to combat. The article's central thesis, encapsulated in a defamatory headline designed to immediately mislead the reader, is that plaintiffs orchestrated a retaliatory public relations campaign against Lively for speaking out about actual harassment, a premise that is categorically false and easily disproven. Listen, you've got 87 pages to show us why this is false, Justin Baldoni and everybody else soon alongside him, right? If the Times truly reviewed the thousands of private communications it claimed to have obtained, its reporters would have seen incontrovertible evidence that it was Lively, not plaintiffs, who engaged in a calculated smear campaign. Okay. The complete communications demonstrate beyond question that plaintiffs had no intention of destroying or burying Lively through aggressive tactics. Well, what about soft tactics? Just asking. On the contrary, Baldoni consistently expressed his desire to avoid harming Lively and protect the film, but also recognized the legitimate need for public relations protection in light of Lively's false and damaging claims. Okay, so we're getting started with the receipts, y'all. Let's see what we got here, okay? So this is a message from Melissa Nathan on August 19th at 7 in the morning. Good morning. Sharing with you a perfect example of why we don't use bots. I wouldn't even worry to think they've hired a team as A, nothing to find, B, they hired an awful team, which I've sent to our guy to track and pull so we have evidence of it. This below should answer everyone's question on what a bot team looks like when every single comment suddenly skews in her favor in a nonsensical way. Okay. At least sprinkle them in. So they're claiming that she was hiring bots already. Okay. She needs to fire her bot team. Justin responds, how can we say somehow that we're not doing any of this? It looks like we're trying to take her down. Wow, okay. So, and I think this is in line with some of the texts that her team had put out there. And some of the texts, you see the ladies representing Justin saying things like, wow, like it's too easy. Women are always chomping at the bit to take people are always chomping at the bit to take women down, sort of a thing, right? Very, very interesting. It doesn't. They're doing all this themselves, and it's really obvious. This is bots. So they show a screen grab of someone calling Justin a Zionist after her something. The rest of it is blurred out. And then you see Justin saying, okay, please monitor. Things I'm more worried about is that we are planting these stories, which is not true, obviously. And then Jennifer Abel responds, chiming in here. The people saying that there are bots and this is a PR play on your side is a minority voice compared to the thousands and thousands who are calling it what it is and reacting to Blake's own actions and interviews. We never want the action of the minority to dictate what we do on our end. We have to always look at the big picture, which is still enormously on your side. But I do see a want and need for fans to move on. People are now commenting that they're bored with the many articles still coming out about this drama. When we move on, they do too. So we need to find ways to keep elevating not just the DV reaction, but also the other things in your life, like family, being back home, and Wayfarer. That's not tone deaf, in my opinion, but sends the message that you are focusing on what really matters, and that's what will help with the Blake narrative too. My point of view, which, okay, fair enough. Good advice. Then you see the tag PR team screenshots of him speaking with them in their group chat. And Jennifer Abel sends an article from the Hollywood Reporter entitled "It Ends With Us." Sony chief praises Blake Lively for advancing the conversation around DV. And then Justin responded, "They messaged me 5 minutes before this went up." Then the team sent, "Blake Lively was really impatient on It Ends With Us set as drama rumors swirl. Tension was so obvious." Jamie says, "So glad Blake was praised. Let her get a win. It would be nice to have a Sony executive praise Justin." Okay. Okay, so they removed Jen's, I guess, personal number from the chat and then added her business number, is what you're seeing here. Now let's continue to the rest of the complaint. The article is predicated on Lively's CRD complaint. So there he's just saying, listen, I was under, I just didn't want the bots, and that's proof of it. So, okay, that's his evidence. The article is predicated on Lively's CRD complaint, which references text exchanges between Nathan and Abel as purported evidence that Nathan planted a negative story in the Daily Mail titled, "Is Blake Lively set to be canceled?" Lively's portrayal is categorically false, misleading, and devoid of factual basis, yet knowingly endorsed by the Times, which claims to have reviewed thousands of pages of text messages and emails. The smear campaign hinges on an August 16th text exchange in which Nathan allegedly shared a link to this article with Abel. The text exchange shows Abel responding, "Wow," followed by, "You really outdid yourself with this one." And it does sound like you set that up if someone's praising you for outdoing yourself with this article, right? To which Nathan allegedly replied, "That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best." These messages constitute the entirety of the purported evidence underlying the allegation of a smear campaign orchestrated on behalf of Baldoni. So I guess he's got his own screenshot of that conversation, or not just him, but Jennifer Abel and Melissa Nathan, because they're also, plaintiffs. So that's that same article, right? Jen says, "Wow, you really outdid yourself with this one, this piece." And it's an upside down smiley, which we didn't see in the original text messages from Blake, right? "That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best." Heading to the airport, there is a drive through the jungle that there's going to be no reception for around 24 hours. Joke, 45 minutes. I'm sorry, you being offline for 45 minutes was not included in the scope. Unacceptable. So here you can see that they've got like a kind of sarcastic banter going on, which I think is what he's going to say in his next page. The Times, however, was aware that these text messages were unscrupulously altered and selectively edited, enabling both Lively and her team and the Times to propagate a false smear campaign narrative designed to destroy plaintiffs. Specifically, in the immediately preceding text exchange on August 16th, Nathan forwarded a screenshot of a message from a reporter informing her for the first time of the Daily Mail article. In response, Nathan wrote, "Damn, this is not fair because it's also not me," followed by, "Everything now looks like it's me," conclusively refuting her involvement in the creation or dissemination of the article. Okay, so there you go. "Canceled, the Mail is going nuts. Damn, it's unfair because it's not me. Everything now looks like it's me. Maybe not to you." No, it totally does look like it's Hyde. So it looks like both of the ladies are acknowledging that they didn't have any hand in this, but it looks like they did. Cool, thanks. Wow. Okay, Justin, drop them receipts, child. Further evidence of the Times' complicity arises from its apparent endorsement of the criminal alteration of these text messages by Lively. Not him calling Lively a criminal now, child. Okay, things are getting good. Things are getting good. After Nathan forwarded a screenshot of the article link, Abel responded with, "You really outdid yourself with this piece," upside down emoji, adding an upside down emoji to indicate the sarcastic nature of her message. The upside down emoji is commonly used to convey irony, sarcasm, joking, or a sense of goofiness or silliness. Guys, how do you feel about that? I am in agreement. Personally, in my own use, when I use the upside down emoji, typically I'm like, and how about that? Do you guys remember like the meme of the guy from Beyond Scared Straight where he was like, "I was waiting on you out the door." Like that's my kind of vibe when I'm using the upside down. Or if someone's like irritating me or did something wrong, it's like, "Oh, or we could have done it like I said so initially." Something like that. Like to me, it's like, oh, so I see why, given that that can be a context, he's saying that it was used in that context, but does it mean that it was used in that context? I don't know. Only the two ladies know, right? But based off of the other text messages that they're also showing, which is, wow, it looks like we're doing all this, blah, blah. Okay, I see what he's presenting. The crazy thing for me is, and I think this is part of being like, I don't know. I see both sides, I really do. I see both sides. Okay, so let's continue on to see what else was said here. So this is August 16th, the complaint versus the truth, right? So in the complaint, you see the screenshot of the messages, and then you see emails discussing this. But in the truth, it was texted, and then they responded with text about it, right? Very, very interesting stuff. And so they're showing the things that were excluded. In her CRD complaint, Lively deliberately excluded not only the preceding screenshot of the text exchange disproving Nathan's involvement in the story, but also the upside down emoji. I do think it's suspicious to delete the upside down emoji. I do. But to play devil's advocate, perhaps because it looks like they were stripping, they weren't involved in the conversation. So they don't have the direct, emoji. Like maybe they use a specific technology to strip because it's all timestamped in a different way than this is, because this is an organic convo. This is like stripping from like a platform. Maybe it just didn't come through. I don't know. What do you guys think? Which fundamentally alters the sarcastic tone of Abel's message and misleads the reader into interpreting her response as serious. This omitted context is critical as it demonstrates that each subsequent message in the exchange was similarly intended as sarcasm, including Nathan's statement, quote, "That's why you hired me, right? I'm the best." Further review of the text message exchange, also excluded from both Lively's CRD complaint and the Times article, unequivocally shows that Abel and Nathan were engaging in a sarcastic and joking manner. And I do agree, when you read the rest of the text message exchange, like it's very obvious that they're joking, that they're trolling, as evidenced by the use of the ha-ha tap back reaction. When read in full, the exchange reveals Nathan and Abel engaging in facetious juvenile banter, not conspiring against Lively. The Times relied on Lively's CRD complaint and, based solely on this exchange, intentionally duped readers into believing that Baldoni orchestrated a smear campaign, purportedly using Nathan and Abel as his accomplices. Indeed, the Times, like Lively, misrepresented these communications to support its salacious and unfounded smear campaign narrative. This calculated distortion underscores the article's lack of credibility and its reliance on sensationalism over substantive truth. Any negative press about Lively was unequivocally a consequence of her own actions. Even the Times itself acknowledged Lively's public missteps in an August 17, 2024 article titled, "It Ends With Us, the Press Tour Drama Explained." In it, reporter Shivani Gonzalez observed, Lively's promotion of the movie has included a push for her new hair care line, discussion of the clothes in the movie, and response to questions about abuse, which have been criticized as shallow and tone-deaf. Baldoni, by contrast, has emphasized the importance of raising awareness of DV and providing resources for those in similar situations. Now you see another screenshot here. Reporter says Blake Lively's little bump tunt felt like a bullet. And I guess this is Justin sending this to someone. Then the team saying LMAO, laughing my A off. We interviewed her too. Let me find that interview effed her. Melissa Nathan then says, oh, so this is someone from TMZ saying that. Okay. When LOL, also, what the F? Why am I in this too? You're a starlet. F this week. How was the stunt? Okay. To me, that one, like, I'm not getting anything from that screenshot, but okay. Lively's marketing efforts, which included encouraging audiences to grab your friends, wear your florals while promoting her hair care and alcohol brands, were widely criticized as insensitive. This was particularly glaring given World Health Organization statistics showing that 55% of DV incidents involve alcohol. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought her thing were seltzers without alcohol, like Buddy Buzz, right? That like it's without alcohol, no? Hmm. And then at the same time, although I do agree that promoting wearing florals and promoting um drinks and hair and whatever was insensitive, but at the same time, like the marketing plan that she showed said that like it shouldn't be so, heavy, like about like victim kind of angle. So I don't know. Her actions naturally triggered organic public criticism and unleashed a cycle of negative coverage, including, as is common in the digital age, the resurfacing of old, unflattering content. So now you see the group chat with the tag team. We didn't tell Jed to go after the idea that her promo was inappropriate. That happened organically because people saw the actual movie and were like, wait, this is a movie about DV that they wore florals to. Imagine how embarrassed you'd feel. Like someone told me, and look, I'm wearing florals today too. Totally unplanned. But imagine like you're like, oh, she told me to wear my florals, like, Barbie, where you're pink. Hi, Barbie. Hi, Barbie. And you're thinking you're watching just like a love story or something if you haven't read the book. Because I gotta be honest, I didn't read the book. I don't know anything about the author or whatever. I would have been like, oh, right, let me wear a nice, cute floral dress. Oh, feeling stupid. Zoe sent me this on Saturday and goes, this is a crazy way to market this movie. And then you see another thing in the group chat of TikTok videos where people are talking about the florals as well. Grab your friends, wear your floral. So we had nothing to do with that. Like, come on. Okay. So now as we advance in this complaint, which by the way, we're zooming right through. We're already on page 12, y'all. If you're enjoying this stream so far, please do not hesitate to give it a thumbs up so that YouTube knows you enjoy my content and you want to continue seeing it. I will be reading Blake's lawsuit against Justin when Justin eventually files against Blake personally. And I do also have my morning report that I do every weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Far from being the product of a calculated smear campaign by plaintiffs, the backlash against Lively was the inevitable fallout of her own tone-deaf messaging and self-promotional tactics, amplified by her inability to read the room in addressing such a serious subject. There's a lot of contempt here. You could tell that Justin hates her guts, right? And listen, I don't blame him if what he's saying is true here. Like, and when we're seeing from some of these message exchange, they keep on confirming that this is organic dislike for Blake. Now, here's a message between he and his PR rep, Melissa. This is not as correct, assuming the guy we brought in would never do this. And it's a screenshot of Perez Hilton dissing Blake, basically. Melissa says, no, none of us would ever do this. Also, no one even pays any attention to this person past 2005. Poor Perez. He is not relevant. He does not create a news headline. He does not get pickup. He is just now a troll. Oof. Ouch. There's not one outlet that would cover anything he said or take it seriously. I think as well, there's this struggle where it's kind of maybe even unbelievable the way that people are turning against her, but they are organically. It's organic. She's blown herself up by her own actions. So you see, Justin is very concerned. He's like, listen, I want to be on the defensive, but I don't want to attack this girl. So this is the second time now that he's trying to verify with his team that they're not planting stories like, hateful stories against Blake. So Melissa says, unearthed Blake Lively interview shows her use slur for trans people. I remember that surfacing. And there it is from the Daily Fail. She said, this just ran. Obviously, none of us knew about this either. But once media goes in, they go in. And the best thing we can do right now is be quiet. Let's get through this week together. Then just move on and back to regular planning with Instagram posts and thoughtful ideas and messages. The content creators are on fire. And Justin, she has handed it to them all on a plate. Just concentrate on the success of the movie, your family, and your next project. I have this weird feeling that she's going to reach out to you for a conversation in the next couple of weeks, or he will. And I guess he might be her husband, Ryan Reynolds. Okay. Wow. Damn, Blake. You didn't put this in your complaint. And now look at all these people from tag 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. A group chat of 9 people, my worst nightmare. Blake Lively, fearing for her career, admit it ends with us backlash. So that is Justin sending this. The tag team says, God, I'm so over this. I'm sure Leslie thinks we placed this one as well. Yep. And same. This can't be denied, y'all. It's so crazy how two sides can make you believe like two completely different things. Because when Blake put out her side, I was like, wow, this is crazy. I believe all this. Now Justin's putting out his side I'm like, wow, this is crazy. I believe all this. So I'm seeing in Justin's complaint things that were not featured in Blake's complaint, and vice versa, though, right? Like, I think he's also admitting some things that she had that got him, when he was like, asking certain questions and this and that too. Like, he's not 100% innocent, right? Like, neither of them are. The article also deliberately ignores that Lively's publicist, Leslie Sloan, of Vision PR, once backed by Harvey Weinstein. Ooh, and we know Blake loves her some Harvey Weinstein, just like she loves her some Woody Allen. I guess we're about to use that here. Seeded stories critical of Baldoni, including that Baldoni was an actual predator ahead of the film's release. I never heard that. Sloan did so even while Nathan attempted to cooperate in good faith. So Leslie Sloan says, yes, please, this info is all wrong. She didn't require script runs, nothing to do with this. She produced the film and got it cut. What the F is going on? The whole cast doesn't like Justin. Nothing to do with Blake. And then James says, I don't know who James is, but okay. Like I said, though, the reporting is that there were issues between her and Justin as well as others, and that Justin found it difficult to work with her. One of these reporters known is close with Steph Jones because they used to always get Tom Brady, Giselle-ish, and Steph reps him, I believe. I told them she is awful and to not rely on anything she says. Leslie, who is Blake's PR, says, I'm telling you, she's a liar. They're panicking as the whole cast hates him. Ouch. So they want to run something based on this reporting, and I want to shut it down, but need something to shut it down with. I know she's a liar. I just need to get my editor on board because she has 3 reporters feeding her BS from two from LA. I promise she's lying. This will not look good for your site. The entire cast will have to go on record. James says, can you give me anything at all on what type of the issue is then? It's not her and it's not him. Leslie says, no, I'm in a plane and this needs to hold. She's so no nonsense and I love it. James says, sounds good. I'd like to clear this ish up. And then you see the text messages here, this exchange. And then James sent a screenshot of that exchange to the tag PR team saying, she said the whole cast hates Justin. This has nothing to do with Blake. And now she's saying that Blake was SA'd. Why wouldn't she say anything about that then? She knows she is full of ish. She told me that the whole issue was that everybody hates Justin, nothing about Blake and Justin. She said it has nothing to do with Blake. BS. Oof, that was too messy for me. And here's another message. Anything you can do is helpful times 1,000. Thanks, Melissa, Brian Friedman. Who signs off their messages like that? That's funny. I really appreciate it, James. So James is a writer from the Daily Fail, apparently. Brian, it will be easier to send you the screen recording of her conversation, which I scroll through slowly. In the conversation, you can see that Leslie bashes Melissa, tries to get me to say that Melissa was planting stories in bad-mouthing Blake. She also goes off calling Stephanie Jones a liar, and never once did she mention anything about the harassment. Here is a screenshot recording. So there was the messages that we already read there. We talked for a while, and during the conversation, Leslie asked me who it is that Melissa raps, who is with Tag PR, that happens with that he'll take this situation. She also told me that Melissa is not a real PR agency and they don't have any good clients. She told me that she did not like Melissa on multiple occasions. So this is just someone snitching, right? She has a history of lying, blah, blah. Okay, whatever. I don't care. Now, oh God, there's more. Many times she gives us information and then her client gets mad and then she comes back and says that she never gave it to us and it's a lie. I had many conversations with her about Blake and she never once did she say anything about SA. I had a 3-way call with her and Melissa and she never said anything, right? So I guess it's all about how Blake's team is very aggressive and willing to lie when they feel under pressure. And okay, some of my videos from The 17th, Blake and Justin on set in Hoboken. They are in an animated conversation, so wanted to see if they want to get any background or context. Between us, the video isn't really great, mostly doing it because of all the speculation about the feud. It's not even between us, LOL, it's something. And so TMZ says, people's story about Justin Baldoni, false about cast crew hating him. We were told cast and crew find Justin to be a nice guy. Don't take as harsh of sides behind the scenes as it's being reported. At this point, we're told it's being milked for publicity. Justin's over it. It really was creative difference between Blake and Justin, but wasn't nearly as bad as reported. Blake's huge ego, etc., is the reporting. TMZ. Melissa Nathan says, I am in a hurricane in Puerto Rico. Oh my God, are you okay? Yes, and I just ate a poke bowl. Okay, girl, I'd be so ill. Do you have sources? Blake Lively camp keep thinking it's us placing, and we are. So there you go. Like they've always maintained their innocence in all of this, you know, and we're doing F all. Yes, on production, they've had a producer working overtime and spoke to people on in post. And so Melissa says, wait till I tell you the whole story. We're legit saying it's a source, says it's all Blake's ego. You have no idea. You think you do. You do not. In my whole career, I've never come across this situation. Why aren't you people saying the real story if known? Can I call you back? Right? Leslie, they're liking City. Good for you. I know you're friends with Melissa. Yeah, we are. I'm not paid to take people down. I'm honest. So that is Blake's PR person saying this. So now we see that both sides are claiming that they're not doing anything to take the other person down. So who do we believe? What is the truth? I don't know. Do you? She hasn't done anything, literally anti-Blake. Okay. She told me the same thing that she told you, which is she said that Blake's backlash is organic. Leslie says it's not. She did nothing but help get a movie to make tons of money. Justin makes tons. And she was kind of off promoting it as if it was Barbie. It's just based on things that she said directly. Okay. Now we see email. Forward statement for TMZ, Jamie and team, FYI. Charlie Neff. Oh, I listened to their podcast, Charlie Neff and Charlie Cotton. Hello, I'm a reporter at TMZ, and I'm reaching out to get a statement regarding some information. We're being told there were at least 3 HR complaints filed against Justin Baldoni on the set of It Ends With Us. We wanted to see if the complaints were investigated and what the results were. So he was just letting them know, but we don't see how they responded to it, okay? The reporter says a source close to set says they don't know of an investigation, but there was an intervention. We heard there were multiple HR complaints from crew and cast, starting with the first day of production. Wayfarer is the studio. It's unclear if Wayfarer Studios performed an investigation into the claims against themselves. Separately, we are aware there was an intervention with Justin Baldoni midway through production based on a pattern of inappropriate behavior by him towards the cast and crew. Okay, so it seems like, listen, this Blake alleged this. It got around. I think that was true, right? The tag team says off the record, the only complaint which not confirmed if it wasn't even an official HR complaint was a guy up for a gig on the crew. Complained the younger guy who got it did so because of ageism. There was investigation and found no wrongdoing. There are no other complaints. Oh, so okay, John. Okay. Wow. Especially no other documented HR complaints. So where did that story come from? There was not an intervention on set or with members of the crew. This would be false to allude to. Blake and Ryan had Justin and his team over for a meeting where Blake expressed all the things she was upset about. This was not Justin versus a team behind the film. It was just his team versus Blake and Ryan, more of a contentious meeting. The way it reads now reads as if it was proper intervention with cast and crew. Not true. All right. But, you know, what about the document? I need to see what happened with the document, right? Meeting with Blake and Ryan. I'm making timestamps here for people who might want to skip around to see certain issues, okay? The reporter says, thank you. I just sent, I'll keep you posted. What is the email for Wayfarer? I need legal to reach out. Leslie, who is Blake's PR, says, me too, I land in less than 2 hours. Justin's PR says, thank you, have a safe flight. Just also, I'm not doing one thing without speaking to you. I'm not answering one email about this situation. I've told everyone to not do one thing /plant/lead / even speak to one reporter, even on background. Now I'm involved. There will be no shock surprises to you. So there you go. A promise from one PR rep to another. Okay. Leslie responds, me either. Can I ask you something if you're American? What do Americans have against the word neither? Like, y'all act like it's not a word, you sometimes you say neither this nor that, but then when it comes time to use neither or neither in like a sentence like this, you guys opt to say either instead. And I've always found that to be very fascinating. I'm wondering like what the rule is behind that for y'all. Anyway, tried you. So I guess Leslie tried to call Melissa. I need to chat. Hi, I want to get into a place I can call. Okay. Let's continue with the complaint. To assert that plaintiffs orchestrated a premeditated smear campaign is to disregard objective evidence that unequivocally contradicts such claims. Even a cursory investigation by the Times would have exposed the baseless nature of Lively's allegations and the lack of factual support for her narrative. Most troubling, however, is the Times' deliberate omission of a critical player in this manufactured controversy, Stephanie Jones. Once Baldoni's and Wayfair's trusted public relations representative, Jones not only had intimate access to the communication strategy and crisis management surrounding the film, but also played a pivotal role in leaking private communications cited in the article. Wow. Her betrayal, driven by a quid pro quo arrangement with Lively, appears aimed at shielding herself while aligning with Lively to curry favor and secure future opportunities. Listen, I'm glad he called it out because we saw that Stephanie Jones filed her own lawsuits and everything like that against, the PR girlies, and I believe Justin as well. So, here we go. This means war, right? Then we see Stephanie Jones emailing Justin Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios saying, blank has been nice and fixed things for us in past. I can give her a call that this is not a nothing burger. And team, please ignore. Thanks. But we don't know what that is. So I don't know, what relevance that has for us. Left word for blank. She's been very nice in past, so we'll get this fixed. Okay, but what happened? Here you go. I'm a reporter for dailyfail.com, and I'm currently working on a story surrounding the recent rumors that there was a feud between It Ends With Us co-stars Blake and Justin. Okay. The Times compounded its journalistic failures by uncritically advancing Lively's unsubstantiated claims of harassment against Heath and Baldoni. Oh, now we're getting into the good stuff because the claims that she was levying against them were very, very alarming, right? So let's see what his defense is for all of that, because I surely am curious. That's, for example, the article, based on Lively's CRD complaint, sensationally alleges that Mr. Heath had shown Lively a video of his naked wife, with Lively's CRD complaint even labeling the footage as pornography. This claim is patently absurd. Not even patently false, but patently absurd. Wow. The video in question was a non-pornographic recording of Heath's wife and baby during a home birth, a deeply personal one with no actual overtone. To distort this benign event into an act of actual misconduct is outrageous and emblematic of the lengths to which Lively and her collaborators are willing to go to defame plaintiffs. Okay, but if someone showed me, let me turn up my brightness. If someone showed me this, I don't think I would be all that happy about it if I didn't ask for it. Imagine I said, hey, can I come in front of you for a line? I really am hungry. I didn't eat lunch. And then someone goes, okay, sure. By the way, here's a video, of me and my wife nude in bed, in a water bed together as she gives birth. What was the context for this? I know the context was like, okay, we're like filming this like birthing scene. And apparently the guy said, Justin said, my wife, she ripped off her clothes. It was very primal or something like that. But it's kind of like, okay, well, that's her story. Blake's given birth 4 times. You've given birth 0 times. So why, you know what I mean? Like, okay, maybe she did it for a water birth, but I don't believe that Blake's character, I haven't seen this movie yet, but I don't believe that Blake's character gives birth in water. So it wouldn't have made sense for her really, and thus rendering this video useless to her, but I digress. Anyway, guys, like I said, if you're enjoying this stream, please do make sure to subscribe to my channel, give the video a thumbs up so that YouTube knows that you are interested in this case, because there's plenty more where that came from, okay? The Times' failure to scrutinize these claims or even provide a balanced account of the events further underscores its role in amplifying Lively's falsehoods while abandoning its responsibility to truth and accuracy. The video was shown to Lively as part of a creative discussion in preparation for a birthing scene in the film. Heath informed Lively that his wife condoned his displaying the video. Any suggestion that Heath engaged in the exhibition of pornography or inappropriate content is false. But did you ask her first? Maybe your wife, said, okay, sure. But if Blake didn't say, sure, show me, then yeah, it would have been inappropriate, right? But I will say that I agree that like calling that pornography is a bit unfair and harsh and dramatic. Adding to this, the harassment narrative is the article's parroted accusation that, quote, both men repeatedly entered her makeup trailer uninvited while she was undressed, including when she was breastfeeding. What Lively in the article failed to mention is that Lively invited Baldoni into her trailer while pumping to, quote, work out their lives. Well, this was not mentioned in the original one. Okay. And what's the tea about the mushrooms? Be mushroom Lively. Not y'all smoking crack together. No, I'm joking. Not y'all doing shrooms together, allegedly. Blake, I'm so sorry to hear you and baby are sick. And so I guess this is the COVID thing that Blake was talking about, right? I know it's literally the last thing you need right now on top of a tough week. I pray it comes and goes with mild symptoms and more than anything that he is okay. If you feel up for it, I'm here absolutely anytime and would love to check in. I know this week was a lot and I'm committed to making things run smoother across the board. Great message, right? Blake says, our mistake. Molly did get the new pages at 11 p.m. last night. She didn't realize they were new, but new pages can always be sent to me as well, please. X. Is she British? Blake says, I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work out our lines. So there you go. Okay. But that was this one time. I don't think this means, hey, open door policy. You know what I mean? Copy, eating with crew, and I will head that way. Blake says, take your time. And then you see Justin texting her, I'm here. I'll meet you in HMU. Sorry, hair and makeup. Sorry, I'm just seeing this. Here's a shorter version. So he announced his presence before entering, so I do not get the sense of him barging in. It seems like he's rather polite, hope you're doing well. Sorry you're sick, praying for you. Okay, I'll come over. I'll take my time. I'm eating with crew, then I'll head over. I'm here. So, okay, I'm seeing this. Blake says, yeah, and just seeing this. Justin responds, here's a shorter version of Christie's original. R, you're upset. Lily doesn't answer. R, you didn't like the flowers? Or is it you didn't like the card? It's all just really confusing. I thought we were friends. We are friends. Then stop flirting with me. Stop buying me flowers and stop staring at me the way you are right now. It isn't fair. Ryle continues to stare. What are you thinking right now? Then have him whisper in the ear as they leave. It's so crazy how actors are able to make such basic and kind of cringy words look like magic, Likewise, the allegation that Baldoni inappropriately described Lively's character's attire as exy is exaggerated and misleading. Oh, Lord. The text exchanges between Baldoni and Lively show that Lively had insisted that her character's clothing be much exier. Oh, Blake, you didn't say this, girl, in your filing. When Baldoni later used the word exy, he was just responding to her creative input, not objectifying her personally. Lively set the tone that Baldoni heeded during the creative process. Oh, Lord, I'm so happy I'm reading his version of events because, this is crazy, Blake says, just text Ange this also. We'll show you both ways, but Beanie is much exier. Ooh, it's the look. Feels TV without, especially with the crop top in the snow. It justifies the rest of the skin. And also, as a girl, I would check out walking down. Is a girl I would check out walking down the street because it washes the effort of the rest of the look. To which Justin responds, first of all, he gives it a heart. And he responds, good. It's so crazy to me that these people text on iMessage. Why aren't y'all on WhatsApp? I haven't used iMessage in years. Good morning. If you don't have time to listen with morning craziness, here is text. Just want to make sure okay with throwing the jacket on from yesterday morning or putting it on your I want to line up a shot and see if I can just use a piece of the shoulder for the establishing shot. The old cafe we didn't get yesterday. I might not need it, but just want to cover. See you soon. Blake says it's just her shoulder. If it's just her shoulder, no problem. If it's her body or head, etc., then it should be me. I was wondering about not having that shot, but kept to myself. Yeah, we ran out of time. I want to line it up with the shoulder and see if it doesn't work. Then when you're dressed, we'll figure it out. By the way, if you're ever wondering if we have a shot or need one, don't ever feel like it's overstepping if you bring it up to me. It sounds very nice, eh? Like when you're dressed, when you're decent, we can work on this. Oh, by the way, don't ever like feel shy to like voice how you feel about things. You're not overstepping. FYI, Brandon just landed. We're talking character. No one waiting. Blake says mortified. They dropped me off at the flower shop. I was in the wrong spot. Oh, that's funny. Okay. Also misleading. The article draws on Lively's assertion that Baldoni improvised unwanted kissing and discussed his ex-life. However, both the Times and Lively intentionally exclude that Lively refused to meet with the intimacy coordinator. Oh, Blake, you refused to meet with oh my god. Okay, so let's see what happened here. Okay, so oh god, I can't. Honestly, I'm shook. To plan out the film's X scenes, Baldoni in turn was forced to meet with the intimacy coordinator alone and relay the suggestions to Lively separately. That almost kind of like defeats the purpose of one, right? Notwithstanding Baldoni's reluctance, he and Lively would later sketch out the scenes together, absent the intimacy coordinator. As part of those creative discussions, Baldoni and Lively sought to personalize and develop their characters, and in doing so, engaged in conversation about their individual experiences. The Times, taking Lively's CRD complaint as true, characterizes this discussion as an inappropriate attempt by Baldoni to talk about his ex-life. It was not. Okay. More still, Baldoni consistently acted as at the direction of the intimacy coordinator. These baseless accusations do not constitute actual harassment, and we're about to get receipts about Blake allegedly refusing to meet with the coordinator that she claimed that she fought to have. So here's the text messages of Justin texting Blake. Oh God, Blake. Did you really play us this whole time? I'm scared to even read it, but okay, here goes. Just hired intimacy coordinator who I love. We'll set you up to meet FaceTime with her next week for intro. Blake responds with this, a thumb up. Blake says, I feel good. I can meet her when we start. Thank you, though. So she was happy, at least, that the coordinator was there, but she didn't have time to FaceTime her, which, listen, she had just given birth, so I could see like her being like, listen, like, if you trust her, I'm cool with it. I'll meet her on set. This to me doesn't constitute a refusal to meet her, but there are more receipts, so we'll see. And so Justin sent the screenshot, just FYI. Wanted to tell you about this. Seems she doesn't want to meet intimacy coordinator until we start, which may mess up the flow, but I can still meet with her, of course. So Justin went and met with her on his own. As he should, right? As a director, producer. But Blake is also a producer, so why wasn't she meeting with her? The female producer says that's fine if she doesn't want to meet her now. You'll just have to walk her through what you and intimacy coordinator are thinking. And then just in response with a thumbs up. Okay. Listen, I don't think that's a refusal. I think Blake went on to meet the coordinator eventually, but the first time she probably couldn't because of other engagements. Listen, she had that hair care line that she had to time in collaboration with this launch in synchronization. She had the Betty Buzz thing to launch, you know. She had a newborn baby. Despite his effort to craft a distorted narrative, the Times fails to address a glaring contradiction in Lively's CRD complaint. After the execution of the protections for right to return to production agreement in November 2023, Lively herself acknowledges that the film was completed, marketed, and released safely and successfully. Okay. After the execution, okay. While Wayfarer, Baldoni, and Heath disagreed with Lively's rationale for requesting the document, many of its provisions were already standard practice. They chose to comply for the sake of the film to ensure Lively's comfort. So basically, they're at least acknowledging that there was such a document that demanded all of these things of them, again, I'm shocked that such a document even needed to be made. I think it wasn't like a good look for them, to be honest with you. But I think this is a decent explanation, but I don't know. I don't know what the truth is, because as we've seen here, based on what the two sides are presenting, it is so easy to make things look any way you want them to look, right? Moving along. Crucially, Lively concedes that neither Baldoni nor Heath engaged in any, quote, harassing behavior following the agreement in November 2023. Furthermore, she admits that her stated concerns were sufficiently addressed at that time. Well, here's my thing. Where the signed documents from you guys? Oh my God, give me one quick second, you guys. Give me one quick second. So sorry, you guys. I finally, after 2 months of searching and searching, found an appointment to go get my new residence permit. Whew, Lord, I panicked. I was like, no, this can't be real. Anyway, let's go ahead. Crucially, Lively concedes that neither Baldoni nor Heath engaged in any harassing behavior following the agreement in November 2023. Furthermore, she contends that her stated concerns were sufficiently addressed at that time. This admission directly undermines her allegations of retaliation and strips her claims of credibility. Without the fabricated smear campaign narrative propping up her CRD complaint, Lively's retaliation claim collapses under its own contradictions, exposing it as yet another ploy to salvage her public image rather than pursue any legitimate grievance. Do y'all agree? Has he proven that for you so far? I'm still kind of on the fence. Again, I think that both of them have done a great job of allowing messages to convey a certain message, and it's a message that obviously suits either one of them at any given time. The fact is that Lively embarked on a hostile takeover of the production, strong-arming Sony into blessing her with ultimate control. As they became increasingly frantic and unsettled by the usurpation of their roles, Baldoni remained resolute that they continue to take the high road and be proud of the beautiful baby they had all made together. Here's my thing. Sony has come out on the record in support of Blake, right? So when he talks about, oh Lord, what happened to my camera when I took a pause? This is weird. Hang on. So if Sony got strong-armed the way that Justin is saying, why is it that they have come out in support of Blake? Did she strong-arm them into supporting her as well? Or is something else happening, at play here? Notwithstanding, Lively waged war on Baldoni, weaponizing innocuous interactions from May and June 2023, long before there was any tension between them, to vilify and discredit him. At the time, Baldoni and Lively had a solid working relationship, and Lively expressed no unease around him. Only after the writer's strike had ended and filming was set to resume did Lively express any concern about returning to set. In response, Wayfarer and Baldoni agreed to all of Lively's demands. Okay, so it seems like these were more in line with the writer's strike than any complaints about like HR. And we saw earlier that his PR team is saying that there were no HR complaints from Blake. The only HR complaint, or anyone really, the only HR complaint was someone saying that they lost out on a job due to ageism, which again, if he's telling the truth, then we need to get HR to come and testify, right? Like that's the only way we'll know. So here's another group chat to Dream Team. Just curious if you guys have peeked at her cut and if anything has changed. Editor number 2 says, I've just been told that we're not permitted to look. Justin says, haha, wow, when did that happen? Another editor, Personi, this evening through this person. Justin says, wow, okay then. The editors and director isn't allowed to look at an actress's cut. Got it. Well, here we go. We will keep taking the high road. I'm sorry, but it is funny, right? Like you were the director of this. These people edit it and they're not allowed to look at her cut. Okay. To suggest, as the Times does, that plaintiffs engaged in dark arts to destroy Lively's reputation is to ignore that Lively had long-standing reputational challenges and that plaintiffs' public relations efforts were rudimentary, above board, and entirely defensive. The Times willingly omits any meaningful discussion of the true source of tension between Lively and plaintiffs, which was Lively's brazen and calculated effort to expropriate the film. So here he is discussing with his PR team. Like, come on, we had nothing to do with that. This is crazy. She doesn't have a good reputation. All of this is organic stuff from real people making TikToks, not bots. Exactly. If it was just comments, I'd be like, oops, but it's not. And so Melissa sends an article that says Blake Lively slammed over how she styled younger actress. Okay. Dream Team, Editor 1. Hey, just checking in. Hope you're hanging in there. We're going through to get through this. Damn it. Justin responds, thanks for checking in. I've sat with it, and I think the best path forward spiritually and what's best for the movie is that I suck it up and let her in. I sent a message requesting that it start on the 18th, and we would just let her in until she leaves, and then her cuts and updates throughout the process. I'll let you guys know what she says. Thanks for being awesome. Dream Team, we got you. I think that sounds like a very good plan on all fronts. Okay. Then you see him say, we made a beautiful baby together. The baby might not grow up to exactly what we thought or who we thought, but it's still beautiful. That's what I'm holding on to. Very proud of us. The editor says, wow, I can't say I'm shocked because I was hoping that you were going to be able to not let this beat you down. And it sounds like you've achieved that. And yes, the movie we handed her was so good that even if it's been screwed with, the base work will still shine through. The last I heard was that she was putting back a fair amount of our version, just not sure what that entailed or to what extent. I guess you'll find out today. Hang in there and we'll all catch up when the wounds are not quite as fresh. Sending love to you both. Listen, it sounds like he's got a very good, relationship with the people he works with, from the PR people to the editors. He's very respectful and kind, even when he was messaging Blake, right? The Times' assertion that plaintiffs orchestrated a campaign to tarnish Lively's reputation blatantly disregards her bizarre behavior at the time and misrepresents plaintiffs' actions, which were modest, transparent, and purely defensive. The article entirely sidesteps the real source of conflict between Lively and plaintiffs. Lively's calculated an audacious attempt to seize control of the film. So now you see Jen Abel. Hi, Jamie just filled me in about BookCon. I know this is devastating and such a kick in the gut. It's petty and childish at this point. I'm just making sure you're okay. We will get through this. Eye on the prize. Her attending BookCon is a win for the film ultimately. And if she wants to drag her ass to Texas, then let her. You can be home with your family, which is important. Justin responds, she's kicked me out officially from the film now. She's finishing it all. I can't be involved. Music, sound, voice effects, everything. I'll make it through somehow. Just need to feel it all. Hold space, Justin, hold space. Justin messaging Jennifer on the left here. Hey, can we get a call on the books to discuss overall strategy and something sensitivity of what we're going into with the release? I'd love Steph there as well as Jamie and Sarah. Okay. Jen responds, absolutely. Steph is still recovering from surgery and likely not available for this until another week. I can check with her schedule and come back to you with changes. We talked about the sensitivity and importance of what we can say about the No More partnership on the last touch base we had with Jamie, and someone need to hone in on that messaging and start planting those seeds as we get closer. Also, any word on if it's been proposed yet to Sony about pushing release to July? Justin says no. This is specifically or sensitivity about Blake. Okay. Copy. Give Jamie a call right now so he can update you on what's happening. Jen says, oh boy, calling him now. Just spoke to him. What a horrible person, but nothing we can't handle. What's important is that you do what you need to do and have the space to make a great movie. I'll touch base with Steph and get her a recovery. Yeah, something on her. Yeah, because she just had surgery, and when she will be up for a call. Heartbroken, praying, heart. Oh, that's sad. He sounds genuinely devastated. Notably absent from the Times' narrative is Lively's insistence on obtaining editing privileges and demanding her own version of the film, a departure from industry standards. Even more egregiously, Lively leveraged her promotional commitments to pressure for the release of her cut. Evidence of Baldoni's efforts to accommodate Lively's demands, including a series of text exchanges with editors who were later replaced by Lively in favor of her husband's editor, underscores the extreme lengths Baldoni went to in order to preserve the film's integrity. The Times' willful omission of these critical details not only distorts the truth, but also perpetuates a false narrative that conveniently absolves Lively of her own culpability in the unraveling of professional relationships and the upheaval surrounding the film. So, wow, she fired those lovely editors too. Damn. Why you gotta use your husband's editors? What's he got to do with us? So here is Justin talking to the editors. Speaking of editors. Blake wants to know when you could be there next week. I can fly on Sunday or Monday, up to you guys. And would you prefer to be there or edit from home? I honestly don't have a preference. Someone else. Oh, and so it begins. We could push for you to stay home. It's up to you. Both have pros and cons. I want Blake to feel like she's getting what she wants so we can move on from this need of hers. For the record, she's been getting what she wants this entire movie. I understand. And she's getting to edit, which is what she wants. Let's remember that. LOL. Yes, and yet, true. I don't want to give her any opportunity to say, well, because Blank was in LA, we could only work certain hours, so I need more time and I don't really get what I needed, or whatever it may be. Okay, because I was about to say, dude, like, say something like, what do you prefer? But now he's like, listen, I prefer what she prefers. I don't want her to make up some excuse over why she's going to fire me or something, Justin says, point is, if you feel it's best and you want to go there, no problem at all. And also, if you would like to stay home, that's something that we can say. I just want you to do what's best for you. Listen, I see both sides. Is this the Libra cusp in me? Anyway, they're showing it at Book Bonanza. The whole movie? Yep, hers. Wow. It was supposed to be ours, and then I was uninvited. Whole thing is pretty cruel and intense. Un-effing believable. Ugh, sorry, Justin. I love you both. Hearts, 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 hearts. Wow. Purple heart, purple heart, purple heart. I just hope you love, or at least stomach, the cut that is going into the world. Haven't seen it. Can't yet. Listen, y'all, you gotta admit that it's pretty cruel and weird that she would just completely retransform the thing, not let the editor see it, not let Justin see it, get rid of the editors that had been working on this film the entire time. At the very end, damn. But at the same time, it's like, is this because of ego, or is it because, she was treated wrong and she's just over it and she's got the power to be like, listen, I'm going to do this my way. It's up to you to decide, right? Also missing from the article is Lively's demand for an unearned producer credit and coveted PGA mark, a demand that Wayfarer and Baldoni were forced to concede under duress, as documented internally. Damn, I want to know how that happened. Oh, they're about to tell me. Here's the email from Jamie Heath. Private and confidential until now. Hi, everyone. I'm writing to you all regarding a letter that I wrote on behalf of Justin and myself addressed to the Producers Guild. As you know, we received a request to write a recommendation on behalf of Blake for her to receive the PGA mark. This was a request that we feel was unreasonable and cold-hearted. Essentially, the movie, It Ends With Us, has been taken unjustly from Justin as a director and essentially from Wayfarer's control due to the extortion of Blake. Oh my God, this is not looking good. Okay. Without going into all the details of the events that have transpired over the months, Justin and I ended up agreeing to write the letter due to feeling trapped. She continues to hold a threat over our heads, and every time we try and hold a line, she uses that threat either directly to indirectly to get us to fold. Well, what's the threat? What did y'all do to her that she's got something over you? Did y'all harass her? Because it's giving y'all harassed her, and she gets to say, oh, listen, since y'all harassed me, we can give me that producer credit, or we could talk about how y'all harassed me over on TMZ Live. What you want to do? That's the vibe I'm getting. Because I don't think someone can threaten you without you having had done something. You know what I mean? But I digress. Make no mistake, I'm not suggesting that we were literally forced to I'm not good at the pronunciation of this. acquiesce. Bref, you guys know what this is. But given the high profile of the movie, the partnership with Sony, the amount of money invested, and the need to complete the movie, we have written the letter on her behalf, admitting the truth of how and why she was able to contribute in the ways we listed. There is nothing to do with this letter now. It only serves as a way to memorialize why the letter was sent in the first place, should we ever need to explain it. Thank you, Jamie. Smart, Jamie. Very smart of you to write this out. I love people who document things. I always tell my friends in the corporate world, document, document, document. Great. Well played. I really like this logo, by the way, Jamie. Anyway, here's another article. Letter. June 26, 2024. Dear members of the... Oh, so this is the thing that they said that they were sending, the recommendation to Blake. Let's see if it's a passive-aggressive at all, since she forced her hand. Dear members of the Producers Guild of America, we hope this letter finds you well. We are writing to inform you of the significant role and contributions that Blake Lively has played in the making of the film It Ends With Us, based on the best-selling novel by Colleen Hoover. This film has meant a great deal, both personally and to our company, Wayfarer Studios, as we optioned the property nearly 5 years ago. As such, we've been directly involved in overseeing every step of development, from adapting the book to the big screen, to bringing on our co-financier, distributor Sony, and of course, casting our lead. From the time Blake was brought on, she has had an instrumental voice in many different aspects in the making of the film. Her contributions have been impactful, as she was consulted with many of the casting options. She helped to refine the script. She redesigned her own wardrobe, including the sexy beret or hat, as well as gave notes on others. She contributed to the production design and decoration, and had influence on how many of these scenes were shot. Blake has been very involved in the post process as well, so I've heard. She has had an active role in the edit, the sound mix, and has made decisions on the music selections and score. She also continues to find creative ways to promote the film so that it can achieve its greatest success, such as through her hair care line and her non-alcoholic alcoholic drinks, and in the promotion of florals. Since contractually she began the film with an EP credit, our earlier submission to the PGA did not include her as a named producer, but we both feel her contributions have warranted the revised credit and consideration for the PGA mark. On behalf of Wayfarer Studios, Justin Baldoni, director, Jamie Heath, producer. Oh, Lord, I know this pained him to send. Moreover, the article fails to address the fact that Baldoni was systematically sidelined from the marketing of his own film. From the very beginning, Baldoni had insisted on marketing the film with a focus on DV and its survivors, a message that was integral to the film's purpose. I don't know about that, Justin, because I saw a document that said, listen, we're going to talk about triumph. We're not going to talk too much about the DV stuff. Just triumph, 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 positivity. So I don't know. Yet Lively drastically limited his input and deliberately steered the promotional campaign away from its societal message. Further undermining Baldoni's role, Lively initially refused to permit his attendance at the film's premiere. Again, why would she do that? Let's talk about it. There's an underlying thing here that is not being mentioned in Justin's lawsuit. Blake explains or claims that she was harassed, and so she had to do these things to defend herself and to feel safe. But Justin's acting like she just woke up one day and chose violence because she's Blake Lively. Listen, is it possible? Yeah, anything's possible, but do I believe that that is why this happened? No. I think that the same reason that she didn't want to be around him when promoting this film is the same reason that these people felt that there was a threat over them and that she had something over them, and that's why they had to cave and get her a PGA mark, And that's the quiet part he doesn't want to say out loud. Something happened. I believe he did something. Only after significant pressure did she reluctantly agree to allow Baldoni and the Wayfarer team to attend, but under humiliating conditions. The Wayfarer team and their families, including Baldoni and Heat, were segregated from the main cast, barred from the exclusive after party, and forced to organize their own event at additional cost. Again, why? What did y'all do? I worked in corporate for maybe 5-6 years, and the amount of harassment I endured, either racial or actual harassment, as a woman, especially as a young woman at that time, because I started like 2021. I think Blake was harassed, and she was not having it. Why was everybody else allowed to go but you guys? And y'all are the only one she's claiming harassed her. Quick, answer me that. Riddle me that, right? Baldoni's participation on the red carpet was cut short, and his family and friends were confined to a makeshift holding area in the basement before being escorted into a separate theater after Lively's departure. It's giving restraining order. And why do you typically get restraining orders against people? Let's say it together. Not only had Lively stolen the film, but she also robbed Baldoni and his team of any genuine opportunity to celebrate their hard work. Maybe y'all robbed yourselves. Because, although these messages you're sharing with your PR are nice now, and the other messages that Blakey showed us, they were saying you're a creep and that you gave them the ick and that you suck and that you're not nice. Anyway, let's see what they're saying here. Jen says, but nothing we can't get through together. This film will be successful. She's already promoted heavily. So if she backs away now, it looks worse on her. And you just focus on the bigger picture of how this film is going to change the game for you and the studio. If only we knew then what we know now. To which Justin responds, you just find ways to keep me busy when she gets everyone together. Obviously, if the whole cast is making content together, that's her trying to clue people onto there being an issue. Everything she does is calculated, yet also manic. I hear you, and we're already ahead of this with Sony, who has our back here. I feel good about that, and they understand the larger issue if fans start poking holes. That doesn't benefit Sony either. I gotta tell y'all, the only reason I was even interested in watching this movie was because of the controversy. I'm someone who watches things based on controversy. The only reason I went and watched Wicked was because, first of all, Ariana and Cynthia, they look like they've been through hell. I was like, well, I thought y'all were filming a children's musical. Why do y'all look like worse for wear? What happened to you? I gotta see, what kind of stunts y'all were pulling in this, I guess. And then they were just acting like they were trauma bonded or something. So I said, oh, so y'all look like you went through hell, and now y'all are acting like you survived, something tragic together. Let me see what happened here, and the result was a very boring film. And that was the same thing for It Ends With Us. I wanted to watch it because of all the drama. I wanted to see how that translated into on-screen chemistry, So I do think that controversy benefits Sony. It benefits, other people peddling films or whatever to us, or music. But I digress. Maybe y'all are different. Let me know in the comment section, okay? Justin says she doesn't want to be the bad guy, so she'll find a way to say it without saying it. And that's why we just stay ahead of it. Attempting to rewrite history and I'm not the one who developed this and spent 5 years trying to make it. And there's an issue with me. It's just mean and hurtful, and she knows exactly what she's doing. So here he is denying that there's any personal issue. Okay. Anyway, he tells his editors that there's an issue, an infection with his spine. Pretty serious. Great doctors and caught it early. Blank had a feeling. My body is done. Too much stress. We'll be in hospital probably until Tuesday now. Then IV antibiotics with a PICC line for 6 weeks, which means I can't travel. In response to Garfield, so happy he liked it. Was that Andrew Garfield? I don't know. Editor says, damn, then just take care of yourself. If Blake is so determined to handle the marketing on the movie, then just let her. Perfect time to look out for number 1. And there he is in the hospital bed. And I hate to say it, but he looks damn good. What is that? One handsome man. I keep telling y'all, with the exception of my lover, this is one of the most handsome men I've ever seen. He's probably number 2. Justin, if you think about it, we didn't even finish our director's cut because she intervened. So ideally, at some point, we can take a week and I'll just do it together for ourselves. But that opens up a can of worms. So we will need to let this play out for a while before we pull that card. And your door will be knocked on. The amount of women who feel seen, that it's reaching people all over the world, that men are remembering their own traumas and having conversations with their partners. That's why we did this. And it worked. Still the dream team. Incredible. That's the best news. Exactly. The most important thing. Editor number 1 is me. Hates group chats, but we'll tune in, put a little word here and there, and just put that thing on mute. Too late. Blake and I talked earlier and agreed we just couldn't be in the same room with Blake. Oh, the editors couldn't be in the same room as Blake? Wow. Okay. That's tea. I had no idea that this was happening. But listen, I don't blame them. She strong-armed them out of their movie. The last day to get our tickets was August 2nd. We'll be loving all of the red looks from you and Justin. So the editors didn't even come. I'm sad for them because they did all that work just for her to say, you know what, we're dropping everything y'all did. We're hiring my husband's editing team, and that's that. Damn. Justin says, long story, but we won't be in the same room. I was asked not to even come to premiere. I can figure it out. Whoo! I'm glad you're going. You did all the work. That was the main reason we didn't go, because we were under the impression you wouldn't be there. Aw, what great buds. Well, if you decide to change your mind last minute, let me know and let's figure it out together. I'm going to be there. That's just different timing and holding areas and theaters and all the things you can imagine. It's still our film. Guys, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of when I had to file an sexual harassment complaint against one of my coworkers because this coworker was so weird. He kept on making these weird comments about wanting to sleep with me and stuff. Mind you, this is for Pilates. Hang on. Mind you, again, I was like 20, 21, and this guy was like 50 something. No, yeah, maybe 60s. Like, it was just disgusting. It was annoying, and it went on for too long. I finally lodged a complaint. And then these were the sorts of things that we had to do. Like, this person could not come near me. They had to take a training class, or a harassment education class, all sorts of things, you know? So I gotta say, like, this is not coming out of nowhere, in my opinion. Having had my own experience with harassment, especially of this kind, this alleged kind, like, I get the vibe that that's what went down, and that is why, you know, he's got to be in separate holding areas. This doesn't just happen like this, guys, for no reason. Okay, I don't believe that this is just ego, but I digress. It's still our film. It would be very hard for me to sit and watch a final film for the first time at the premiere. Just cheer for us when our names come up. Sending all love. Okay, yeah, I haven't seen it either. Again, yeah, I get where they're coming from. At least Justin is in it, so he can go and see like how he was acting and whatnot, you know. But then their only thing is that they were editors, and now they don't even have that. You know what I mean? So I get why they don't want to go ahead and watch that. So now you see Justin sharing messages from people on TikTok, right? Where they're talking about being DV survivors. And now at 40, this movie gives me the strength to leave. Despite warnings, he continued with his raging tone. I'm heartbroken, but I've endured 6.5 years of this, you know? And then so he says, this is why we do this, which I think is beautiful. It's nice that, like, you know, he was genuinely touched by the outpouring, you know? And then he shared another example, and it says, this is why I made the film. Can we reshare somehow to amplify stories maybe? Okay, so in Blake's filing, it made it seem like he wanted to do that as like a defense to her complaints about him, but it sounds like he's like genuinely touched. Even in his messages with the editors, it sounds like he's genuinely, like, you know, his heart's in it for that reason. Has he spoken about if he's been in a DV relationship or something like that? Because that's the vibe I get from him, okay? When Wayfarer and Baldoni hired Lively to appear in the film, they did not anticipate that she would execute a hostile takeover of the entire project. Lively's cynical abuse of sexual harassment allegations. So there you go. There were. First of all, earlier you claimed that there were no actual allegations. You claimed that the only allegation was that someone who was like older, a lighting director, felt as though he was discriminated against based on his age. And now you're telling me that there was this harassment allegation. Boom, just like I thought. Just like I thought. Come on, y'all. Let me know in the comments what you're thinking about this so far. Are you believing the allegations? To assert unilateral control over every aspect of the production was both strategic and manipulative. Simultaneously, her public image suffered as a result of a series of high-profile blunders, which she tried to deflect by blaming plaintiffs for the public's prying interest into the foibles of an A-list celebrity. This is nothing but an excuse. Fame is a double-edged sword, but Lively's tactics here are unconscionable. Alongside the Times, she orchestrated a malicious attack on the reputations, careers, and personal lives of plaintiffs, subjecting them to public humiliation, threats, and vitriol. This lawsuit seeks to hold the Times accountable for its role in this defamation campaign, but plaintiffs are not alone. There are other bad actors involved, and make no mistake, this will not be the last lawsuit. So we already know there's going to be one against Blake, but I wonder who else. Oh, I think he's going to sue these people who are sending these messages. So look, this is someone who sent Justin or his team a delete threat. There are guillotines in hell for all of you disgusting liars intentionally spreading deceitful misinformation about innocent people. Are you all brain dead? Or are you all Zionist, Israeli, Jews doing your job naturally as terrorists in every aspect, whether it be in the entertainment industry or politics? You all know you've done unethical work for evil people. Oh, wow. Unhinged doesn't even begin to cover it. Now here's another one. A message from Melissa Nathan. Another delete threat. Dear Tag PR, this is a message from Melissa Nathan, who said we can bury anyone. Melissa, I have more knowledge than you do about Hollywood, knowing about the dirty secrets of many directors and influential people up to the White House, because I am clothed in black. Well, I'm clothed in blue. Some of the directors, well, technically black. I'm even more clothed in black than you are. And I'm not connected like this. Some of the directors may know what that means. Before you go attacking good people like Blake Lively, be sure of this. There are no secrets those of us closed in the darkest black of night do not know. And one day we will share those secrets in a forced public press meeting to the whole world in a foreign country with the help of technology you have no understanding of. In that day, the corrupt in Hollywood will realize all their codes, cues, keys, and triggers in their films will fall back on their own heads, and all their vile acts against children will throw them into darkness. Do not play with Blake Lively. Time is ours, as is the night. We above every government on earth, and even Nassau. Now, what the Bahamas got to do with this? So next time you want to crush someone like Blake Lively, think again. We work in ways you will never perceive. Not Blake having demonic fans. I'm a demon and I will come after you type nonsense. Okay. Parties and jurisdiction. Plaintiff Wayfarer Studios LLC is and at all relevant time herein was a Delaware limited liability company. And that's because y'all don't pay taxes in Delaware. Plaintiff Justin Baldoni is, and at all relevant times, was an individual residing in the county of LA, California. So this is where they get into like kind of the technicalities of why they filed in this place versus another place, okay? Why these people are relevant plaintiffs, relevant defendants, why they have the right to sue, blah, blah, blah. So this is stuff that's not super duper relevant to us. This is more kind of just like nitty gritty kind of thing, okay, you guys? Let's see if there's some more tea that we can get out of this. Okay. I don't care about how the film was secured. I don't care about how y'all are dividing the money. I want the drama. On or about December 31st, 2022, Lively agreed to take on the lead role of Lily Bloom. As part of the subsequent negotiations, Lively was granted an executive producer credit, a title often associated with talent of her stature. Wayfarer did not request that Lively contribute to the film in any capacity beyond her performance. Okay. Quick question. Speaking of her being A-list and an actress of a certain stature, has she been nominated for like an Emmy or an Oscar or anything like that? I got to go look for myself. But if you're watching this before I even get a chance to look, because I know myself, I do forget, let me know in the comment section, please. Okay. Lively takes over wardrobe. On or about May 15th, 2023, principal photography of the film commenced in New Jersey. During pre-production, Lively began to assert control over aspects of the film beyond her role as an actor, outside the scope of her contractual entitlements. While lead actors are sometimes granted approval over the general look of their on-screen character, this authority typically does not include full control over wardrobe decisions without input. Okay, so it seems like, all right, she was kicking out the stylists, the costume designers, and whatnot. Ignoring the director's vision, she spent weeks by the entire team shopping and thoughtfully crafting her wardrobe in preparation for filming. Lively would send hundreds of images to the film's costume designer during all hours of the evening, pointing them in the direction of the appearance she wanted for the character. The costume designer then had to reshop her wardrobe, far exceeding the allocated budget and diverting time and resources. At one point, Lively insisted that her character had money and could afford $5,000 shoes. $5,000 shoes sounds ridiculous. The most I ever spent on shoes was like $1,000 or $900. I'm trying to think. I have Louis Vuitton heels, waste of money. I have Chanel flats, another waste of money. And that's far below the 5K. 5K for shoes is insane. I can get it like a bag or something, but shoes, laisse tomber. Lively also several times refused to participate in wardrobe fittings at the production office, a mere 15 minutes away from her tribe. Okay, so you're talking about how she's causing all of these issues, right? So a lot of this is about the wardrobe, which we've already gathered. On the first day of principal photography, paparazzi captured and published images of Lively in character wearing her self-selected wardrobe. These images were described as unflattering and sparked a backlash from the film's distributors, Sony. Baldoni received direct criticism from Sony, who voiced concern about the impact on the film's public. So they said, this girl cannot dress for ish. Put her back in the costume design right now. You're playing with our money, right? He approached her in her trailer to discuss necessary wardrobe adjustments. This is when Blake said he was crying about people calling her fat. The conversation, while professional, took considerable time and was later grossly misrepresented in Lively's complaint, falsely characterizing the exchange as a lengthy outburst that delayed filming and caused the crew to wait for hours while he cried. He said, "It's false." Wow. Okay. Although he did briefly tear up during the conversation, it was in response to what he believed was a genuine compliment from Lively, praising his work as a director and actor. In hindsight, Baldoni recognized this as a manipulation tactic, likely intended to persuade him to continue allowing her unchecked control over wardrobe decisions. She leveraged this conversation in support of her allegations of harassment, which we saw. Then her rewriting the script. She kept doing this daily, apparently. Okay, that's annoying. Reynolds and Lively's inappropriate and humiliating berating of Baldoni, delivered, perhaps intentionally, as other celebrity friends were coming in and out of their penthouse. Ooh, ouch. Was prompted by Baldoni's reasonable inquiry into crucial information needed to ensure safety and avoid injury in the scene. So he does admit that he was asking about her weight. So there you go. Baldoni, while training for a physically demanding scene in which his character would lift her. Apparently that didn't happen. Y'all watched the movie. Did it happen? Did he lift her? Okay. In fact, Lively threatened to quit the movie over this, despite her contractual obligations. She gave him an ultimatum to either cast someone else or work with her in the way she works. It was her way or the highway. Recasting would be detrimental to production, sever Wayfarer's relationship with Sony, and cost millions. To highlight the effects of masterful gaslighting, Baldoni and Wayfarer also truly believed that in an effort to save herself from the backlash of being recast, Lively would leak that she felt fat-shamed by Baldoni, which he thought would ruin his career. Beyond the script revisions, likely extended her influence over the film to other areas, frequently challenging decisions and asserting control, including dialogue and stuff like that, causing major delays. Over the months leading up to the film's release, Lively and her collaborators consistently scrutinized interactions with Baldoni and employed tactics that fall squarely within the definition of gaslighting. All right, child. Lively sets the stage for coercion by drafting a, quote, protection letter that intentionally misrepresents the nature of conversations had between Baldoni and or Heath and Lively. Okay. Wayfarer received an unsettling and unexpected email from Lively through her counsel containing a 17-point list of non-negotiable conditions that must be met before she would return to work. And she said this was after the strike. And then they took no issue with the request. And contrary to her assertion, it was she who refused to meet with the intimacy coordinator, which we saw. Okay. And this is stuff we already saw earlier. That's why I'm buzzing through this, because they're kind of just rehashing things that we saw. There are a couple other new things, but for the most part, it's the same thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and call it a date right here. Okay, you guys? Let's see. Let's get into the breastfeeding stuff. Likely also established very early that it was acceptable to be present while she was breastfeeding. Both Heath and Baldoni have children and are comfortable around breastfeeding mothers, and Lively seemed equally comfortable. In fact, Baldoni's wife co-founded a company that makes a breastfeeding garment, a prototype that originated with his mother when he was a baby. And as revealed in a text message exchange between Baldoni and Lively less than 2 weeks into filming, Lively invited Baldoni to her trailer to rehearse lines while she was pumping breast milk. Lively now alleges in the CRD complaint that Baldoni and or Heath would enter her makeup trailer of their own volition while she was breastfeeding. Notably, breastfeeding was an activity she often conducted openly in the presence of Baldoni and Heath, including during production meetings. So this is the exchange that we saw earlier as well. Okay. In the complaint that the Times published, Lively suggests that Heath walked into her trailer unannounced while in the state of undressed and topless, which is false. Heath was invited into her trailer along with a female producer, Baldoni, and a Sony representative for a meeting requested by Lively. Okay, well, I would like to see this lady called up as a witness and to see what she has to say, because that'll settle things. And same with Sony. I want to know what they have to say. Heath arrived first to see if Lively was ready for the meeting, and after knocking and being invited in, saw that Lively was breastfeeding. She was not topless. She was having makeup removed from her collarbone while fully covered. Heath asked if they should return at a later time. Lively said no. They could move forward with the meeting as initially planned and would meet them after she finished removing makeup. Roughly 2 weeks later, Lively announced that she thought she had seen Heath make eye contact with her. Heath immediately apologized and said he hadn't even realized he looked her way, in response to which Lively remarked, "I know you weren't trying to cop a look." A reference to this incident conveniently showed up on a document months later, distorted like others and out of context, in a list that the Times later published as a fact. Ooh, Lord, does he have an axe to grind? At the end of the day, if what he's saying is true, I would be frustrated as well. But I got to be honest, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle with the both of them. They're both very conveniently framing things and conveniently leaving other things out to suit their narratives, as they should. There are millions of dollars on the line here. Not just in the form of the lawsuits against one another, but in the form of future earnings as well, right? When your reputation as an actor is shot like that, it's hard to get work in the future. So they both have to fight for their lives at this point. Justin more than Blake, right? Because Blake at least has her husband to fall back on, her family money to fall back on. But Justin, he's bringing home the bacon, and he is a lesser known actor than Blake is. But anyway, wow. It's been really interesting reading the complaint alongside you guys. This is just the one against the New York Times. Stay tuned for the one against Blake Lively, which is coming very soon. His lawyer promised us that it would happen as soon as the courts open back up. So get ready, y'all. We're just getting started here. Now, don't forget, I do run my morning report every single weekday, so Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be discussing a lot more information and other hot stories as well. If you want to go ahead and join me, this happens every single weekday. So please do make sure to tune in for that. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed the stream. Thank you so much for reading alongside me, and I'll catch you in my next video.